Gone are the days of the fierce opposition to the machine from the likes of Donald Trump. Trump calls for all Republicans to back McCarthy for Speaker. Why? No, serious question. Why? He put out a post on Truth Social. That's the big news this morning. But let me show you something. We've got Tucker Carlson saying no. Quote, if you prefer democracy to oligarchy, it's pretty refreshing to see it. Tucker welcomes chaos around House Speaker vote and demands Kevin McCarthy reins in FBI and releases January 6 files to win GOP backing. Donald Trump, let's read his statement. We got Kimberly Klasick with the post on Twitter. Donald Trump on Truth Social says, some really good conversations took place last night, and it's now time for all of our great Republican House members to vote for Kevin, close the deal, take the victory, and watch Crazy Nancy Pelosi fly back home to a very broken California, the only speaker in U.S. history to have lost the House twice. Republicans do not turn a great triumph into a giant and embarrassing defeat. It's time to celebrate. You deserve it. Kevin McCarthy will do a good job and maybe even a great job. Just watch. Look at that first response. Someone said, he's becoming a politician. Good. Okay, I mean, good for you guys. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. I'm not interested. Was barely interested the first time, not interested now. Look, man, Kevin McCarthy's a swamp monster, and the goal was to drain the swamp, and Donald Trump is just conceding. That's how I'm gonna phrase it. He's giving up. With all due respect, I will highlight Mike Cernovich, who I do respect, and here's what he says. McCarthy is as good as it's going to get for Speaker. He's made concessions. Unlike Scalise, he won't sneak in amnesty. Jim Jordan has zero shot and takes Google money and is far from who he presents himself to be. It's Kevin or someone way worse. Don't say you weren't warned. Okay, fair point. I think Cernovich is a smart guy. And so I'll accept that. But, for me, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not interested in supporting the machine. Donald Trump offered something different. Now he doesn't. Now he's coming out and he's just offering the same old garbage. Look what the Hill does to his face. There are a lot of people who blindly follow Trump. I don't know, man. I think I am just so over Donald Trump at this point. I don't even know what to say. Maybe there is a small modicum of hope that Trump will actually do something, but here's a guy who in the press, they saturate his face. It's a saturation when you make the colors more pronounced so that he looks like an Oompa Loompa. You see this? Come on. I know Trump's orange, but this is over the top. And Donald Trump is so pathetic that he keeps giving these people interviews, that he keeps going to these. I'm so over it, man. Look, I get it. Tactfully, strategically, politically, it's the right choice. Donald Trump is making some good decisions. I get it. I'm not interested in then what this offer is. But logically, I understand why Republicans want Kevin McCarthy. He's in a leadership position. I got to be honest, that's really it. He's in a leadership position. He's got access. He can help Republicans win or destroy them. So they're falling in line behind him and saying it's as good as it's going to get. But here's a guy who blamed Donald Trump for January 6th, and Donald Trump comes out. He's lost it. I'll tell you what I think. I think Trump retired. I do. He's an old man. And I think Trump's thinking I can't keep doing this. He's not going to be the 80-year-old president like Joe Biden. That's it. When I look at this right here, you know what I think? I think DeSantis 2024. Look, man, every diehard Trump fan in the world can come out, in the United States or wherever they are, and tell me I'm wrong, and that's fine. You're allowed to think so. But I will stress it. This man on the right claimed that Trump was funded by Putin in 2016, blamed Donald Trump for January 6th, and Donald Trump endorses him. You think that's alpha? You think that's strength? When Donald Trump mocked Ted Cruz and made jokes about, what was it, his dad being the son of Sam or something like that, Ted Cruz eventually came out and got behind Trump, and everyone called him a pathetic loser. Well, let me tell you guys, I get it. It's politics. If Trump is he's gonna be in the primaries and he's gonna go aggressive, okay, water under the bridge, we'll move on from this. But we're not talking about a primary. We're not talking about the political climate in campaign season. We're talking about Kevin McCarthy working against America First candidates. We're talking about Kevin McCarthy directly accusing Trump of being a Russian agent. We're talking about Kevin McCarthy blaming Donald Trump for January 6th, despite the fact that Trump said, be peaceful, we're the party of law and order. And Trump endorses him. Look, man, Trump had very little to offer in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. I know for a lot of you, he's a moderate, right? Secure the borders. But now I got to imagine, I got to wonder, you're a conservative. You got this guy, Donald Trump, coming out and he's not pro-life. He blames the pro-life Republicans. Like, okay, why are you getting behind him? How does Trump still have such diehard zealots at this point? And I'll point it out one more time. Trump keeps giving these interviews to members of the corporate press, despite the fact they saturate his face to make him look like an Oompa Loompa. Yo. You know what I like? I like what Tucker Carlson has to say. All right? Tucker Carlson is basically like, good that they're fighting. And I'm like, yes, he's correct. At the bare minimum, all right, with the House vote, I probably should have given you the context here for those that have missed it. Historic. Not in 100 years has something like this happened, where a speaker was not elected in the first vote. Now we've done 3 and McCarthy lost each time. Good. Let me tell you about the corporate press. The New York Times, how far right are the 20 Republicans who voted against McCarthy? This is the nature of this country, and it can't survive. It can't. The 20 Republicans who voted against McCarthy, how far right are they? All right. 5 of them are newly elected, and the rest are incumbents. 12 denied the election results. This is what Donald Trump supports. He comes out and he complains. He's like, listen, we don't like these corporate press. And then I'm going to go give them exclusive interviews. And then they're going to lie about me. And then I'm going to complain about how they're lying about me. Oh, okay, dude. I'm sorry, guys. I was not on board with Trump in 2016. I got on board simply because I saw things were better and I knew what Biden represented. So I'll put it this way. With Hillary Clinton and Trump, I'm like, I know Hillary's evil, but Trump was arrogant and it was like celebrity nonsense to me. I'm like, I'm not interested. I just don't care. Then I see the Trump administration, the lies, the manipulation from the corporate press. I see the Trump administration doing well, and I say, okay, this guy's doing pretty good. If he was not being bogged down by this corruption, maybe things would get better. I'm going to vote for it again. I'm going to vote for it for the first time, I should say, in 2020. It's funny, the left claims, leftists are like, Tim Pool actually voted for Trump in 2016 and he's lying. And then the right's like, Tim Pool didn't actually even vote for Trump in 2020. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I didn't vote. And in 2020, I voted for Trump. So here we are. The corporate press that Donald Trump keeps entertaining is just relentlessly smearing him all day. And for whatever reason, he just keeps giving in. Yeah, it's sad. Donald Trump's I got this big announcement coming out. I'm gonna, we need a superhero, and then it's NFTs. At this point, I have to wonder if Trump is just retiring. He's saying, look, support Kevin McCarthy. Why? Because McCarthy probably said something like, if you back me, I will make your problems go away. As speaker, we're gonna have committees. We're gonna shut down the January 6th stuff. It's gonna be done. We're gonna move on. I think Trump is feeling the pressure. He's got these potential criminal charges looming over, and it's all bunk, BS, mind you. But he's an old man. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm saying literally, he's an old man. At some point, you just want to go play golf. You know what I mean? This is a tough job. I was thinking about Jeremy Renner earlier. It's a big story. I feel bad for this Jeremy Renner. He plays Hawkeye in the Marvel universe. He had a snowplow. He was trying to help a family member who got stuck. Apparently, I guess it started to move, and then he tried jumping in. It fell down, ran his leg over, lost a lot of blood. I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, you know what I really envy? Pop Culture Crisis, the Pop Culture Crisis crew. Have you seen this show, timcast.com? It's very much like Timcast IRL, but it's all just pop culture, and I'm like, that's the life right there. Get away from the politics. Get away from the power mongering. Get away from the pandering. Get away from the fear of the machine trying to crush you, and just talk about Brad Pitt. Just talk. He's got a new movie. It's called Babylon with Margot Robbie. Isn't that the life? I am jealous. Maybe, and I got to be honest too, guys. If I just start talking about comic books, movies, and stuff, I'd probably make way more money. But that's not me. I care about this stuff. I care about what is shaping the world around us and whether or not we will survive and become a spacefaring species in the end. That's where it all leads to. And then I look at what's going on, and I can understand why someone like Trump is just like, please, I'm so tired. That's what I really think. I think Trump is retired. I think he's a tired old man. Again, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I believe that he is just done. This man's done a lot in his life. Done a lot. He's built a lot of things, put his name in a lot of places. And I think in 2016, Donald Trump, he's an arrogant guy. He's a confident guy. And he's thinking, been there, done that. Billionaire, real estate mogul, casinos, name on all these different buildings. What more could a man strive for on this planet? Man, you ever play a video game? You beat it, you're in the end game, and then you're just like, why keep playing? It's like a good game, I think, is Breath of the Wild or Skyrim, these open world games, because you can beat the main story, but then keep playing. And it's fun. And then you're eventually like, what more can I do? Well, for Trump, I think he was like, I'm going to be president. What else could I do? And then he did. He was president. He did his thing. And now he's not president. And now he's probably sitting there going like, well, billionaire, celebrity, world famous. My name is everywhere. Everyone in the world knows who I am. Then I was the president of the United States. What now? Nothing. There's nothing. That's it. He's done. So he's running. I know he's running, but I just see it as he's out. He's out. It's retirement. Just vote for Kevin McCarthy, guys. Please. Please make it all stop. Please, I'm begging you. No more. I just want to play golf. That's what I see with Trump. As the media smears his most ardent allies and supporters, he comes out and goes against them. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is in line with Trump. What I see is many of these MAGA candidates, many of these Trump supporters, they probably realized they're going up against a machine, and it hurts bad. But you take a look at these individuals. You take a look at these 20 individuals. Andy Biggs, Dan Bishop, Boebert, Michael Cloud, Clyde, Gates, Good, Gosar, Harris, Miller, Norman, Scott Perry, Rosendale, Chip Roy, Donalds, Breachin, Crane, Ogles, Paulina Luna, and Keith Self. And these are people who are just like, I don't care for the establishment. These are the next wave of what Trump had represented in a sense. Now, I get it. So it's a Freedom Caucus, guys. A lot of people from the Freedom Caucus. 19 are associated with the Freedom Caucus. That's hilarious. The only one who's not is Self. And it's like, okay, so it's Freedom Caucus people. And they're not necessarily Trump supporters, but mostly. But I don't know if Trump really matters anymore. I don't think Trump realizes a lot of these people were just like, we want a human Molotov cocktail in the machine. I think Trump is feeling the pressure. Kevin McCarthy's part of the machine. And by backing Kevin McCarthy, the intelligence agencies in the machine are like, Trump will leave you alone if you fall in line. And Trump was like, all right. Because that's what I was saying. Part of me is like, it would be a lot easier than constantly talking politics and trying to build a company and do like, look, man, I've said it before. The easiest thing for me would be to just do one YouTube video per day and I'd be making money. No, for real. Shut everything down, just do one, and then go skate, smell the flowers, go down to the river, and do a lot less work. But that ain't me. I'm not interested in that. So let me relate this a little bit to myself and to what we see here. Lauren Boebert, awesome. I met her for the first time at Turning Point USA. And I was fairly neutral. I was like, oh, she's cool. I don't know anything about her. Now I see her and Matt Gaetz standing up and saying no. And I'm like, I like these candidates. Are these members of Congress. I dig it. Plus the Freedom Caucus guys, I've always been a big fan of them for the most part. I don't know every single person, but they seem to be all right. I dig it. And so good. That's cool. I relate to this. You know what I mean? I'm not here to go sit by the river and just float down with a beer in hand and be like, who cares? I care about this stuff. And it's not about Trump, and it never was for me. And I think for these people, that's the same thing. Trump can come out and say, vote McCarthy. I don't think you're going to change these people's minds. You got 20 people who are saying no to Kevin McCarthy, and you think Donald Trump's going to convince them? I think, man, some people just can't handle the heat, and the machine is strong. Lauren Boebert almost lost. I think she won by only a couple hundred votes. The machine is doing everything. Look at Matt Gaetz. They smeared him with lies, accusing him of like crazy, like hooking up with underage girls. Like just the machine is desperate to try and stop these people. Then it turns out the Gaetz family was actually being blackmailed. Surprise, surprise. Now, for a lot of these other people here, they're not as prominent or well known. The machine doesn't go after them as much. And I'll tell you this, for us over at Timcast, I don't know what's going on. We get swatted. What does Andrew Tate call it? A matrix attack? I don't know who's doing it for whatever reason. But I don't think we're that big of a disruptor in the political space. We're just moderate disruption to a certain sense. But I know that it would be so much easier just to do something else, Talk about celebrity stuff. Don't get in the way of the machine or the establishment. I'm not going to do that, man. I understand what Cernovich is saying about Kevin McCarthy, and I can respect it. And if in the end Kevin McCarthy becomes speaker, and it may be the case, fine. Whatever, man. I'm just going to tell you this. I am an objector, okay? I object. I don't like these parties. I don't like McCarthy. He backstabs Trump, then Trump just falls down and says, please, please, let me be. And then where do we go from there? What is the net gain for the American people? A porous border, our jobs being shipped overseas. That's why, Lauren Boebert, and she's tweeting about this. She's like, we're supposed to secure the border. We're supposed to help this country. If McCarthy wins, I tell you what you're going to see. The Republican establishment are Democrats driving the speed limit. Your border will be porous. Your jobs will be shipped overseas. But they will claim to support family values. But, our hands are just tied. If only. We're fighting for you. No, these 20 candidates, 19 Freedom Caucus, these are the ones who are actually fighting for you. Actually fighting for some change or something different. I think it's funny. You got these videos going around of Ocasio-Cortez talking to Matt Gaetz, and I'm really interested to hear what they were saying to each other. Because they're not like, it didn't seem acrimonious. You got Gosar laughing and talking with AOC. When Nancy Pelosi was up for the speakership, AOC objected, but then fell in line instantly. And now what they're saying is, let me show you this one. Ron Filipkowski, Democrat guy, says, meanwhile, in the Democratic Party, our broad, diverse coalition that ranges from anarchists and socialists to neocon former Republicans seems able to continuously come together and make things happen. Because you're a cult, dude. You're a cult, Glenn Greenwald says. That's because the neocon former Republicans in the Dem Party have all the power, along with those whose main life talent is serving Wall Street big donors, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, while these alleged anarchists and socialists keep quiet and do what they're told. That's right. AOC. It's just bizarre to watch Dems and their media allies celebrate their dissent-free, subservient, and obedience to leaders' unity. Yes, congrats on choosing your leader by acclamation. Someone who is the living, breathing embodiment of K Street sleaze without a peep of protest. That's right. Glenn says, there are few things I've seen in politics as pathetic and humiliating as the squad snapping into line behind Jeffries. He's openly campaigned against them. He's the embodiment of everything they claim to hate. AOC said in 2018, removing him from Congress was her top priority. You get it? Going up against the machine hurts. It is the path of resistance. Man, I don't think people understand. These lefties are like, Tim Pool's a grifter. Grifter! I should have stayed working for Disney. Man, imagine. With my work ethic and political acumen, if I was like, I'd love to service the machine, let me drop to my knees, how much money you think I'd be getting paid? They paid me a lot of money. And I kept saying no. They were like, come on, Tim. I told you, I've told this story several times. They were like, why don't you just, this is our audience, they're young progressives. Why don't you just side with the audience? I'm like, side with the audience? I'm just telling people what's going on. We're here to tell the truth, not make things up. Tried quitting. Wake up one day to 40 grand. I think it was 40 grand in my bank account. After taxes, it was less. But I'm like, what's this? It's a lot of money. I wonder why. Hey, take the money, man. Take the money. No, I'm not interested. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not going to pretend to be as anti-establishment and as aggressive as even someone like Crowder. It's probably why he's got 5 times the subscribers that we do. But it would be so much easier to do what AOC did, to just fall in line. And Trump's giving you the out right here. Oh, baby. I could just be like, well, Donald Trump is the guy. I'm going to get in line behind him and say, you know what? He's right. Nah, I ain't doing it. I don't care, man. Maybe the swattings will get worse. Maybe they'll come. Maybe they'll freeze our accounts. Maybe they'll say, look, man, we've taken hold of the insurgency in the Republican Party, the Freedom Caucus. It's time to give up. And I'll just be like, bro, I don't care. I didn't care then. I don't care now. I don't like these people. I think they are evil people. If Donald Trump wants to line up with AOC behind the machine, I don't care. I'll just come out and say, then I don't like, then Donald Trump, do your thing. Whatever, man. The media is going to make you look like an Oompa Loompa, and then you're going to go give them interviews. That's stupid. That's stupid to me. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm on the side of what's true. And what's true is this. There is a reality that we don't know everything about the inner workings of the security state. There is most people know that. It is true that the intelligence agencies probably do things to benefit American interests. It is also true that the intelligence agencies serve to protect themselves. Here's the challenge for me. I don't want China to win. I don't want Russia to win. I don't like either of those countries. I don't like Putin or Xi Jinping. I think they're against us. And I think, obviously, if the U.S. falters, our standard of living will drop dramatically. The double-edged sword is, what can we do to preserve the standard of living in the United States while stopping the likes of Russia, China, etc.? Competition with the BRICS nations. Well, you start to see a lot of the evil, right? That's the thing. People have mentioned that with Brazil voting out Bolsonaro, now getting Lula, BRICS is basically done. Lula's going to be pro-U.S., pro-NATO, pro-World Economic Forum. Yeah. Look, man, I want people's lives to get better. But the whole thing, you will own nothing and you will be happy, isn't about making people's lives better. It's about making their lives worse. The view that many of these elites have, you are stupid, you are livestock, and there's too many of you. When AOC falls in line behind everything she claims to hate, when Donald Trump does the same, now calling people to support a guy who blamed him for January 6th and accused him of being a Putin puppet, they're giving in. They're saying, I just don't want to resist anymore. You will own nothing and you will be happy. I don't know where all this goes, but the truth is there are people who have a plan. It's not everybody with the same plan. There's not I'm not saying there's a cabal and there's a unified globalist insurrection or something. I'm saying powerful corporations, they have plans. Politicians, they have plans. And there's a power structure. The unseen power structure, but it is known. AOC knows what it is. Donald Trump knows what it is. And it's hard to fight against. And that power structure is amorphous and abstract. Kevin McCarthy is getting the votes simply because he's who everyone expects to get the votes. That's the confidence. People are like, he's going to win. I better not go against him. Now that people are saying he can't win, it's time for you all to vote on principle. I think Mike Cernovich is right. Jim Jordan may not be the guy, but certainly you could vote for Biggs or some other Freedom Caucus guy. I'm not gonna sit here and pander to Trump supporters. If Trump wants to bow out, so be it. But I'm not interested in playing that game. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.